Hi guys, I have a 2013 Skoda Superb, and what the customer complaint is that intermittently when they go to take off, it kind of stalls, it loses power, it doesn't go like it should go. I had a job recreating this problem. It was quite easy to recreate it, but I had a job recreating it because what I had was I'd start the car, I'd leave the car running, and then I'd drive it around, and it never happened to me. And I'd always do kind of in a small village, I'd do a long, relatively long journeys. I wasn't stopping and starting and all this. I'd stop, but only for a second at a stop sign. I'd take off again and it wouldn't cut out. I'd put it in on the side of the road. I'd take off again and it wouldn't, kind of lose power, not cut out. So I had a job recreating it, but then I discovered what the problem was. On this car, we have a start-stop system, and it's working as a taxi, but when it was working as a taxi, geared to stop at traffic lights, and once you stopped at traffic lights, what happened was the car cut out. You pressed the clutch, and the car started itself automatically, and when she went to take off then, it kind of died. It didn't go, as she said, like it should have. So, I noticed then, when I went to start the car, every time I cycled the key, it took a couple of seconds before it would actually take the throttle. So I could try and rev the car, but it wouldn't actually take the boot, okay? So I'm just going to show you what was happening. We'll turn the key on. I don't know if you can see my accelerator pedal there here, and you may be able to hear this actually. I have to press the clutch to start, sorry. Okay, going. No response. Gave 2 presses there with no response. I'm going to go back. I'm going to start it again. Actually done it straight away there now, which is kind of, I wouldn't say funny, but it's doing it again there. But basically what was happening is the car was turning off, and when the car turned off itself and went to start, it just wouldn't take the boot right. So that's the problem. In here to our scan tool, I've done a code scan, and we have a neutral position sensor signal fault code. I went into live data, had a look. I have 1.5 volts or so while no, I'm telling lies. I have 2.5 around there while the car is in neutral. If I put it into first, any of the forward gears, it went up to about 3 volts. When I pulled it 3 and a bit maybe, when I pulled it back down the way, I went down to below 2, so 1.5, 1.7. So I'm kind of happy enough. What I'm seeing, that's okay. So I carried on then, and I have a couple of other fault codes here, but I've created some of them, okay? What I see is high pressure sensor circuit short to ground. This is to do with the AC pump. I have an air activation AC compressor short circuit. I've disconnected these in order to disable the stop start system so it wouldn't turn off as much for her. We do have a stop start button here, but she had to cycle, every time she cycled the key she had to repress the button. So we were creating faults here in order to make this thing not do what was happening to her as much. Bulbs, I'm not going to pay any attention to those. Where it gets a little bit interesting for me here, and I'll give a few plugs there in a minute. I had to get a bit of direction on this because I was getting I didn't really know where to go, to be honest with you. But I have this there, a 03406 control module for battery monitoring, no signal. If I clear all the fault codes, that's the first one to come back up. I believe I had another one somewhere as well. There. 02071 local data bus electrical problem in circuit. So that's what we went after, and I didn't want to. That's what we went after, was these 2 fault codes, and I was kind of saying I didn't know where I was going to go. What I have to give dibs on, and my test process, I have to give dibs on to Alliance Automotive AutoBiz Ireland, because the technical helpline, Mr. Tim Stock, who's a serious man, Timopedia I call it rather than Wikipedia. He looked at it. I didn't look at it over the phone. He said clear fault codes, which he done. We went back in then and we got fault codes straight away, and it was just that LIN bus and the battery monitoring system that we had an issue with. He sent me out here to have a look and actually see what was the story with the battery monitoring system. He said, we'll go out there and we'll have a look at this and see what's happened with the LIN bus and the battery monitoring system. So where he sent me then was, we had to get our scope going, right? Scope is running here at second thing is skidding around the place. The scope was running here at, we'd say, 16 volts. We can see it wherever the heck I am. 16 volts up here, 0 volts here. He said, get out to your battery monitoring system, your intelligent battery sensor, which is that one there, he said, start back probing. The red and violet wire we should have battery voltage at. Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to test our stuff first. It's a wireless, what would we call it? Bluetooth connection for my multimeter, so hence I've no wires going into my Verus. But anyway, we're going to check and just make sure it's working. So onto battery positive. We are on battery ground here. Battery positive, and I have 12 volts, okay? You can see that. So we're going to back probe our intelligent battery sensor. When I back probe it, in I go, I have 12 volts on the red and violet wire. On the other wire, which is violet and white, you can see it. When I back probe that, I have, and I go and see, if I can see, 0.6 of a volt. Drop it out, that's the wire gone out. And I'm going to go back in. Oop. Gee, I can't, maybe I'm getting it right. Sorry, phone rang. And just as I was saying, this is a LIN bus system, and we have 0.7 of a volt on it. It's not the job, should be 0 to 12 volts. It should be a square wave, 0 to 12 volt square wave. I put a little headlight on me just to show you. Back in here, one thing that what we discovered, alternator. The wire, one wire going onto the alternator. You can see it just in there. It's a little bit hard to get in at, but I'm going to pop off. Yeah, sorry, I'm just trying to pop off that block. What I found is that our LIN bus is back, and what was happening is the alternator was actually, I'm just going to get a light so we can try and show you guys. The alternator was creating the short. Okay, the alternator is not off a start-stop system. The reason I have my LIN signal back is
guys, as you've seen already, this is only just a drawing of where I was at. I ran out of memory on my phone and I wasn't able to really show, I suppose, a complete picture of the repair on the intelligent battery sensor or the start-stop system on the Superb. What we should have had, and what you saw very briefly on the oscilloscope, was we should have a 0 to 12 volt square wave LIN bus signal. So these are data packets, but that's what we should have had. We had down around 0.5 of a volt, which was wrong. Should have been this, but this was being pulled to ground. The LIN bus, our communication wire, was being pulled to ground by the actual alternator being the wrong alternator. Okay, wasn't able to close it up and show it really very well, but whether right or wrong, it was only battery PCM intelligent battery sensor. Should have a 12 volt feed, should have the LIN bus then coming back to the PCM in basic form. When we were scoping it here with our oscilloscope, but we only had 0.5 of a volt, and we should have had that LIN bus signal at the intelligent battery sensor, but it was pulled to ground by the alternator. So just very easy to get caught in that, lads, with the non-start stop alternator. The variables in the car industry, it's kind of, you can see it, they're hard to keep them all in your head, they're hard to stay on top of them all, but you'll always get tripped up. We'll all get tripped up, there's no point. But if we can see and watch all these little snippets without further training because of this lockdown and all that crack in COVID, it's just beneficial to see things and see other lads' videos, and I don't know, hopefully the little group will learn bits from each other. So some of you that subscribe to me, I'm subscribing back to you, and it's interesting. Today actually I looked at a video belonging to one of my subscribers. But thanks very much, guys, and I'll talk to you next cartoon. Please like and subscribe, it's any good. Thank you, talk soon.